Today marks the 17th anniversary of the disappearance of 3-year-old Madeleine McCanns. This is one of the all-time most perplexing cases that I have ever read about or encountered, and I wanted to remind you all about it. Madeleine vanished from a vacation apartment in Praia de Luz, Portugal, where she was on family vacation with her parents and her twin 2-year-old siblings. Her parents were joining another couple that they had met on the trip at dinner at a tapas restaurant that was like 100 feet from the front door of the vacation apartment. They had a wonderful day at the pool. They put the kids to bed. They go out to dinner at like 10:30 at night, and the parents were taking turns going into the vacation rental to check on the kids. They booked a table that looked in the exact direction of the apartments, and later they discovered that there was a note that the hotel staff had written in a book that many folks were able to see, noting that the parents of these children who were asleep alone in that particular condo number would be needing that table. They had been at that table every night for the last 4 nights consecutively, meeting their friends for dinner at the same time. That became a really key piece as to, an open-ended way that anyone could have known that the kids were in there by themselves. So Madeleine's father, Jerry, does the first check. He goes inside, everybody's asleep, and he sees all of the kids, everybody's asleep, that everything's fine. He recalled that he left the door only slightly ajar and it was wide open, so he thought, that's strange, and then he pulled the door closed before he left. Jane Tanner, one of the women who was having dinner with them, then left to go check on her own daughter, and she passed Jerry on his way back in the street. He had stopped to chat with someone on his way back, but and the man he was chatting with do not remember seeing Jane Tanner, and that became like a big thing too. Jane reported seeing a man carrying a child down the street, moving pretty briskly, and she gave this sketch. They were never able to figure out if this was just another person carrying their own child, though. She did recall that the child was wearing these types of like cut-off pajamas that had like a little frilly end, and Madeleine was wearing pajamas that were similar to that. Now, 45 minutes after that, a couple named the Smiths, who were staying at the same property, but they were not with the group at the restaurant, had another sighting of a man who they have generated sketches about. And this was a very important note because he was also seen carrying a child wearing similar pajamas to Madeleine's. And this became something that that was released by Scotland Yard and became an image that in 2013, when they were really pushing again for this, for reopening of the investigation. They were really searching for this guy. Now back to Madeleine. So at 11:30, her mom got up to go check on the kids. And one of the other people that they were with was staying in a condo that was on the way to theirs. And he was getting ready to go check on his own kids. So he was like, I'll do it. I'll just check on both sets of kids. He stuck his head in, didn't notice anything amiss. And 30 minutes later, Kate headed back to make her own check on her kids and realized that the children's bedroom door was wide open. When she went to shut it, it slammed, which was like weird. So she opened the door again, realized that the window was open in the room, and Madeleine was missing. Kate runs back to the restaurant. They immediately start searching, and they never found her. I'll do another deep dive on like all of the evidence. There's a really incredible documentary on Netflix that I highly recommend you watch if you're interested in more about this case. But they brought in cadaver dogs who indicated at the trunk of the parents' car. The parents were initially the biggest suspects. They have since been cleared, I believe. But they also wondered why, when the police arrived, the other 2 children were sleeping so heavily they slept through the entire altercation. People were shouting in the apartment. So there was some finger pointing about whether or not they had potentially given them something to help them sleep. And that was and then maybe that had made Madeleine sick and the parents were trying to cover it up. But at the end of the day, there was not enough evidence to prove any of the theories. And that's why this case is such a, it's just so peculiar still. They also officially named this man, Christian Breckner, as a suspect in the case. He was a local to Portugal at the time and was a known and convicted offender. And in 2022, they announced that they had officially named a suspect. They never released the name of them, but folks, there's a lot of speculation out there that it is this guy. But at the end of the day, her parents are still searching for her, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking.